Hello and welcome. Today we are going to go ahead and take a look at the Nova Freighter. So freighters are the next series of ships that I decided to build out. And similar to the Hauler, we are looking for a ship that requires 0 ranks of Starship Design, has to have at least a bed and a bathroom, and have a cargo hold hab. However, the big difference between the freighter and the hauler is that the freighter is allowed to have a Class B or Class C reactor. So think of this as I want to carry as much as I possibly can, but still require no Starship Design. However, you've gone far enough that you can get that piloting skill up to rank 3 or 4. This particular ship is built here at Nova Galactic here on New Homestead. I am making use of the ship flip glitch. However, there should be no mods needed to make this ship be built or function. So let's go ahead and start with the interior tour, and then we will go ahead and see how it's built. All right, so first things first, we are entering directly into a 2x3 cargo hold hab. You can see the lander is right here, and then the docking axis is right above, so this is the only entry or exit for the ship. Coming forward, we have the Nova Galactic 2x1 all-in-one berth B. This gives us 3 beds, a small table to sit at. However, because of where the doors are placed, there are no bathrooms in this hold, and there also is not a galley in this one. It's just some extra beds. Right here, we have the cockpit. Coming back here, you will see that there's a ladder located right here. We can hop on up that, and we are entering into the Nova Galactic 1x1. It could be a storeroom or a companionway, just whichever one you prefer. And then back here, we have the Nova Galactic 2x1 living quarters. You'll notice that this one does have the bathroom in it right back here. There's a second bed here, coffee, here's the galley, and then a table for people to eat at. Additionally, if we come right over here and open this door, and we enter into the Nova Galactic 2x2 cargo hold hab. Next, if we come around this little wall here, there's another door here, and this is yet another Nova Galactic 2x2 cargo hold hab. Exact same hab as the other side. If you wanted to make this ship be not a cargo ship, but instead more of a warship, swapping this hab out for a mess hall, this one out for, say, a control room, and then the 2 cargo hold habs for, say, an all-in-one or a living quarters, would end up with a fairly reasonable ship that does not require Starship Design to fly. So let's go ahead and come talk to this man about how the ship is built.
Need some work done? Okay, no problem.
All right, so first things first, let's go hop into the ship builder. I'm going to grab the colors into my palette because I kind of like the look of this ship and I don't want to have to go fiddling with paint jobs. And now I'm going to go ahead and select all and delete. So, as always, I like starting off with the landing bay first, and then we go on over to the Habs and fill out the human navigable portions. So first things first, we've got the Nova Galactic 2x3 cargo hold hab. Then we're going to go ahead and right up top here, we're going to grab the 1x1. Again, this could be the storeroom or the companionway. It's entirely your choice. Coming onto the back of this, we are going to go ahead and put a 2x2 hab on each side, and we will just make them both cargo holds now. Then coming off the back of the storeroom, I have the 1x1. This can be whichever one you want, but I had set it to be the living quarters. Note that if you want a bathroom on this ship, then there is going to be the living quarters or the 2x1 all-in-one A are going to have the bathroom back here, whereas the all-in-one B by default has the bathroom up here, and that will get removed by this door. Next up, off of this, we're going to go ahead and grab whichever 2x1 all-in-one we want. On the ship tour, I did the all-in-one berth B, but you could also very easily go ahead and make this the armory or a captain's quarters or a control station, just whatever would help you the most. That is all of the Habs on this ship. So let's go ahead here, and we are now going to go ahead and grab the cockpit. For this ship, I'm using the Magellan C2X. You can also use the C2 or one of the C1 variants if you prefer. I just like the look of this one the most. And then right here, we are going to go ahead and place the docker. And it looks like I actually put this one back a little bit too much. It's actually supposed to be located right here with the front portion of the cargo hold above the ladder. Alrighty then. So, one of the interesting things that I found when building the freighter line is that all of the grav drives that are Class C require Starship Design. So you can see I can come on down here. I've got my Class B grav drives. You can see I use the Aurora 11G when building this ship, which gives us 27 grabs jump thrust. Anything else requires Starship Design. Don't use the Nova Galactic ones, they suck. There's also the RD-1000. However, this one does not have a front or back connection point. And the way that I have it attached in this ship, I needed the front connection point. Continuing on, you can see as soon as I get to the Class C grav drives, Starship Design needed for every single one of these. This means that if you are trying to maximize your cargo capacity, you actually want this to be a Class B ship, not a Class C ship. And I will show you more details why in just a sec. So, for the moment, I'm just going to place this here. It's actually going to move one to the right in a second. Next, let me go ahead and talk engines. So, of course, we have our Class A engines. Then we get down to the Class B engines. On this ship, I'm using 3 of the Dun 11 engines, because as soon as we go to the Dun 21s or higher, we need Starship Design. I could also use the Hercules engines, but these need a side connection piece. And with how I designed the ship, I'm going to need at least one with the front connection piece of the Dun engine. That being said, you can see this is 150 mass and 3100 maneuvering thrust. If I click here again, if I go look at the Hercules, we can see we get a little bit more maneuvering thrust, a little bit less mass. So it would make more sense if you have the side connection pieces to use the Hercules engines. Additionally, all these engines do require 3 power, including the Novas. And then the Nova engine is about the same as the Hercules, 3300 versus 3375. But this one requires 2 side connections. You only actually need one of them. It also has the front connections, so you could just go ahead and slap this on if you wanted to and you like the look of that. But going back down, you can see the Ammon-Dunn engines all require Starship Design. The Poseidon engines require Starship Design. The Supernovas all require Starship Design. So we have to have a Class B grav drive without Starship Design. We have to have a Class B engine without Starship Design. If we come on over and look at the only other things that require Class B or Class C, there's the shields and then there's the weapons. And when I come on down to the shields, getting a Class C engine does mean I can use a Class C shield. So that's going to be more shield capacity than the Class B ones provide. However, we do need to look at the reactors. So the best Class B reactor that we can use is going to be the Z Machine 2000, um, which is going to give us 21 power. And then all of the other ones that are better are requiring Starship Design. Or we get a, so if we look at this, the 2000 has a mass of 57. And then when we come on down and we look at the Class C reactors, we'll ignore, I don't know why the A9 exists. I guess it's just earlier levels. The B9 is going to give us 96 mass, or 85 mass for the A9. So we're looking at around 40 more mass for the Class C reactor, which means that that's about 200 less cargo capacity just for that reactor. So we've got the B9 with 24 reactor power. We have the SF-10 for 20 reactor power, or the Fuser DC-401 for 29 reactor power. So obviously I went with the DC-401 because if I'm using a C class, I might as well get as much reactor power as I want. And the other thing that you can see here is that I'm getting 8 more reactor power out of this than I would get out of the best B class reactor that I can put on without Starship Design. Okay, this is going to slide in right here. And then I am putting the grav drive in right here. I can go ahead and connect the engine to the top or the bottom. It doesn't really matter. However, this little space right here, I'm going to remove this for a quick sec. This is where I put my fuel tanks. So you can use whatever side-mounted fuel tanks you want. In this particular case, I put in a pair of Titan 550s. Note that the perfect one that would go here would be the 500T, except for this requires Starship Design. It's a very common refrain that I had when looking at building these ships is, oh, I love this Starship Design. Oh, this looks good, Starship Design, etc., etc. So with the fuel tanks right there, I can put that back, and now this kind of center tower is finished. All right, next up, I have 2 more of these engines located here and here. You can put them top mounted or bottom mounted, whichever one you like the look of the more. And now let's go ahead and look at the landing gear. So once again, cannot use the NG-20s because of Starship Design, and because this is a fairly heavy ship, I don't want to put a ton of the NG-10s on, so I'm going to end up using 6 of the NG-15s. And I'm putting 3 on each side, here, here, and here, and then all right. Now I've got one error. Oh, it's complaining about the Docker module again. All right, let me try this again. Habs, I want this. Then I want Oh, for the love of... I don't know why it sometimes gets like this, but it complains that it wants the Docker module on the outside of the ship, even though that Docker module is on the outside of the ship. As you can see, it looks exactly the same, but now it's not complaining. So, yay us. Alright, now that that is all done, it's time to go ahead and add the shield. Now, for this particular ship, I went with the Odin 330C. So this is a C-class shield, and you can basically place this wherever you want up top. I am going to hide it under a Nova cowling right here, but we can also go ahead and place it like here, and for some reason, this, yes, this isn't tall enough to trigger, but this is. Whatever. Alright, so shield on. Now we're going to go ahead and start adding structural and cargo pieces. So starting with the structural pieces, I'm going to start with a Nova cowling here and here. And then I'm going to put another Nova cowling on here. This one and here. Note here, if you would like to, you can extend this out like this, or you can leave it back. It's however you want your ship to look. Alright, so that is the top out of the way. Now let's do the sides. Alright, so I'm going to need 3 of these Nova cowlings per side, and I'm just flipping them in over the landing gear. And then for this one, I actually need 2 for a moment. I'm going to pull this off. And then I'm going to flip this rear facing over this one. Then I put this on this side, and then I'm also going to go ahead and grab the Nova braking engine and place that right there. And then I'm going to copy this over to this side. And then coming on over here, flip, flip, and then again, I need to pull this off for a moment to stick this on. And the reason I'm doing this is if I don't have this piece here, because the connection point is already being used, it does not want to let me flip it into place. But if I put this here, there's a connection point where it will attach, and then it works. Even if I then delete that piece because it's now connected there as well. All right. Next up, since I'm still looking at the top of the ship, let me just go ahead and slap my weapons on. Now, for this ship, the other upside of using a Class C reactor is we get Class C weapons. Now, some of the best weapons still are Class B in the like the PBO 175s. However, in general, the Class B weapons that don't require Starship Design tend to be slightly worse than the Class C ones that don't require Starship Design. So I am just going to go ahead and come on down here, and I am grabbing 4 of the Disruptor 3340A Alpha turrets and 4 Disruptor 3340A Auto Alpha beams. Note, these are the ones that have the magazine, not the ones that just fire whenever the cooldown's up, because I don't have quite enough power to fully power all of these weapons at once, because this is going to be another 24 power, putting me, yeah, well, let's let the system math it out. And as you can see, there are plenty of weapon slots to put things on. So just stick them wherever you would like. Here, or we can stick some on the side of the cockpit, or even on the underside of the cockpit. Just anywhere goes. And then let's go ahead and grab these. And then you can see with the plethora of weapon amounts available to us, you've got plenty of choices for putting things. Yeah, so you can see having this requires 41 power, and even with the anitronic fusion skill maxed out, I only have 34 available. So I would rather have these that require a magazine, and therefore will fire faster than the ones without the magazine. All right, now then, so got a nice 30 light years jump range, perfect amount of mobility. If you wanted a warship, you could very easily stop right here, and you have a pretty decent Class C warship with no Starship Design needed. Mobilities isn't the best, but you're not going to get much better until you can get better engines with Starship Design. Also, as I mentioned, if you would like to run the different engines, we can go ahead and use these. If I just slap this here, if you like this look more than this look, these are slightly better maneuvering thrust, but less engine thrust. And it's a perfectly valid configuration like this. You could even go ahead and pull the grav drive up and stick on a fuel tank right here if you would like. Uh, I will note you can put a maximum of 4 of these engines on. So if you wanted more power, we could very easily just go ahead and change these pieces for this type, and then get basically 2 engines on each side. But that would then require yet more power. So I've been making a point in many of my designs to not max out my number of engines, so that way I have that power for something else. Actually, I believe I put the grav drive right here. And then right here, I have a Nova Bracer. As you can see, it would make no real difference which way I want to put it. But as for why, oh, come on. I hate that error. There we go. Okay, so as for why I need this bracer here, I'm going to be going ahead and attaching some of my cargo here. So for this ship, I am using 3 of the Stormax 50 cargo holds on each side. And then under here, I'm going to go ahead and put the 100 cm ballast cargo holds. And then where did I have Nova cowlings? I see. So some Nova radiators here. Ah, that's what I did. Let me place these somewhere else. And then there we go. That's how I had everything configured. So as you can see, it doesn't really make a huge difference how you do that. Just looking to go ahead and have this protrude slightly off the back, so that way I can attach these underneath. I also have enough space that if I wanted to, I could put one more here, but then my mass jumps up enough that my jump range goes down. So that's the downside of using these heavier parts, because these engines are 150 versus about 90-ish for Class A engines. Um, and then, of course, this is 90 as opposed to the 30 to 40 that a Class A reactor has. So I've actually built some of the Class A ships that have more cargo, slightly, than this one does. All right. However, those Class A ships that have more cargo are less mobile and don't have the firepower and defenses that this one does. All right, there we go. So this is the Nova Freighter. And obviously the most annoying part about building it is when it decides the Docker module is not on top of the ship. So let's go ahead and take it up and get a couple pictures. Okay, and as a Class C ship, obviously it has a lower top speed than the Class A. Well, actually, for speed, it's the engine sizes that matter. So it's got a top speed of 140 before skills. And of course, you have to max out your points in the engine power skill to get that. Um, so let's go ahead and take those pictures. Just take a quick look to see if we can get Saturn in any of these shots. And I don't see Saturn, so it's probably on the other side of Titan here. There we go. All right. So thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed watching this, please like, comment, subscribe, all those YouTube things. And I will see you in the next one.